Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my monthly wrap up for May, and May was Asian May or Asian Readathon, and I read only Asian book for the whole month, with a few exceptions for reasons, and I will talk about them here today. I read 30 books in May. It was an insanely good reading month. It was just a lot of reading done, like a lot, and I'm very happy about it. And now I want to chill a bit, but I'm very happy about it. Luckily for me, I don't need to talk about every single book, because that will be here for ages. But we are still gonna be here for ages. It's all fine. Just need to add that I read 10,383 pages in May, which sounds insane when I say it like that. I think it's the most pages I read in like a really, really long time in 1 month. 10,000 pages is a lot. So yay, let's just get into the books I read. First of all, I will just show you very quickly the books I read for Gotathingforseason. My Gotathingforseason wrap up is already up, so you can check that out, and I will leave it linked down below for the thoughts on all of these books. So for that, I did read Jade City by Fonda Lee, but I will probably talk a bit about this anyway. Uzumaki by Junji Ito, Love Hina by Ken Akumatsu, and When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain by Niwo. All of these I talked about in my Gotathingforseason wrap up, and now for the official Asian Readathon challenges, I will talk about those books first, and then we will go to the rest ones afterwards. So the first challenge for Asian Readathon was to read any Asian book, and for that I read A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This one follows 4 friends that live in New York, but I would say like 2 friends are more in focus than 4, but whatever. It is also just very sad. One of the main characters struggles with just so many things. He's disabled, he has a really, really dark past, and just trigger warnings for self-harm, suicide, rape, pedophilia, body dysmorphia. I don't even know, I think to be like a thorough trigger warning thing, you need to look it up better, but just be aware that it has so many triggers, and I don't even think that's enough for you to be aware what this book has. It has just a very heavy, really sad theme overall, and it's probably one of the most saddest books I ever read. I would definitely say it was really well written and a very solid book, but the whole tone of it is sadness, I would say. I said this in my favorites as well, but a part of me wishes it could have had another ending, in a way that I feel like characters could have another kind of realization in their lives than what they got. But I guess that also life, we don't all get to see and realize things about us. That's really realistic, but it's very sad. But yeah, it was really good. It was depressing, as I said. I think it takes a lot out of people to read something like this, but I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I was very impressed by this book, and now I want to read the author's other books. But I'm also asking myself, is the author of this okay? Because truly, are they okay? Who knows? Lots of things could be discussed and talked about in this book for a long time, I think. But I don't have the bracelets for that, so let's move on. The next challenge was to read a book with an Asian protagonist, and for that I read Our Wayward Fate by Gloria Chow. This one follows Ali, and she is one of the few Asian people in her town. By the few, I mean she's the only one, and then another guy starts who is also Asian, and they kind of connect over this, even though she's it's so typical that people think we connect over this just because we are both Asian, and then they do it. It's just a bit funny. And then her mom has always been very secretive and stuff about certain things. Then she kind of finds out, I guess, those secrets, or she goes out to find them. So it's this family thing, but also she has this thing with this boy. I guess that's kind of the plot. And I do think the story was good and very readable, but I also think what we found out and just how the story developed just felt really, I don't know, I didn't really get it, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but it was just a bit weird, and I guess a bit sudden, and maybe I just wish the book maybe was a bit longer, or just it could have explored more what was revealed, because I thought it would just happen so quickly. I'm not saying I didn't hate this, and I didn't not enjoy it, but I definitely think that I enjoyed it more in the beginning, and then when we focused a lot on other stuff, I just thought that could have been done better, I guess. But yeah, I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars, so I didn't hate it, but I think I enjoyed the first book by the author much more, for example. But I will continue reading the books by this author, of course, and I do think it had many nice themes and just some fun moments and stuff. Like, I didn't hate it. Why am I defending myself? I don't even know. It was a good book, okay? So, like, I would definitely recommend it. I just, like, didn't love all parts, I guess. I don't even know. What am I saying? The next challenge was then to read a book by an Asian author in your favorite genre. Where is the book, though? I have a lot of piles. It's here. For that, I read The Wolf of Oren-Yaro by K.S. Villoso, and this one is the first book in the Bitch Queen series, and it basically follows our main character that I now cannot remember the name of, Queen Talian, however you pronounce that, and she becomes queen, but then her like husband runs away on the day before the coronation, and they were supposed to rule together. What to say, like she apparently rules, I think, the country for like 5 years. And then they go to the city to meet up with the husband, and then a lot of things happens. This was not at all, by the way, not at all how I thought it was gonna be. It was just such a different story than what I assumed, and like that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it was just like so funny how I imagined the story would be, and it was just not at all what I thought it would be. I don't know. It's basically about her being in the city, and then like, I don't know, it comes in this different situation where she has to survive, and it was interesting, but I just felt like it was so weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like, weird is a bad word, but like, I thought it would be like this story about this queen, and like we see her just rule and just like meet like obstacles while ruling, and like I'm not saying she's not a queen anymore, but like it's very much like a character driven thing where like she develops up the character, and I just felt like she's been ruling for like the last 5 years. Isn't this a bit too late? I don't know how to describe. How has she managed to like even like survive the last 5 years, and then like 5 years later she gets a character moment? Like, what has she done the last 5 years? I don't know. Like the whole time skip thing really put me off. If this character development thing happened, this meeting happened like right after everything, like I don't know, like a few months after, it would make sense. But I just don't get like the timeline in my head. It's just like, I don't know, like, how did she survive? I don't know how to, I don't get it. And I guess, like, that just put me off. And maybe that's just, like, my brain thing. I'm not saying, like, the author did anything wrong in that sense. It's just, like, for me, that doesn't make sense. I do think the story was still interesting. I love learning about the world and meeting these characters. And, you know, like, I'm not saying that it was uninteresting by any means, but it was a bit more character driven than for my taste, because I really liked like a cool plot. It was just like a lot of characters, and then we were traveling around and meeting different people, and I was just like, this girl, how is she alive? It was so weird. But I guess it will evolve into her being this character. I guess I just imagine like this real like sassy queen. I don't know, it's called the Bitch Queen series, and then she would just like be ruling and being awesome already, but then like obstacles would happen. But now she's just like, I don't know how to describe it, kind of useless, and it was a bit surprising. And I think she would grow into what I thought the story would start out with, which is fine. It sounds like I'm saying that I didn't like it because it wasn't what I thought it would be. I guess a bit, but overall I just think like the story itself didn't vibe with me. There's like, because I'm used to not everything being as I thought it would be, obviously, but the story just didn't vibe with me as much, and I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars. That's my point. I enjoyed it. I will read the next books. I think I will enjoy them a lot, but it was just a bit slow and character stuff and a lot of walking around. Like, how is she alive? I don't get it. The next challenge was then to read a non-fiction book by an Asian author, and for that I read Know My Name by Chanel Miller, which is the story of Chanel when she was raped, and then she like the aftermath of that, the court case, everything that happened to her after that, and like how her journey has been. And it was amazing. It was read by the author. I listened to the audiobook, didn't forget to say that. It was just so good. She like writes so well, and just like, I guess, seeing the perspective of the victim, of the court system, of how it's all handled, just everything. Just so, we knew it, but it was just like how it was written. It was so eye-opening, and just a very good memoir, which I can't say that word. Chanel just had a beautiful voice, and just all the things she went through. It's horrible, but it was a really great book, and I need a physical copy because it was just so good. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I recommend it so much. I would recommend this to like everyone, obviously knowing that it is about a rape case, but like just everyone in general could just get so much out of this, I think. And it was just a very good book. When you enjoy something, it's really hard to just tell what was good, but everything was good, okay, everything. Just like how court system works, at least in the US, I don't get it. It's stupid. I don't even know. Okay, I give this 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. So what more to say? And the last challenge itself for Asian Readathon was to read a Asian book that was non-US centric, and for that I had chosen The Salad of Bones by Jun-Ho. So this one is set in Korea in 1800, and this one is like a crime mystery novel actually, and historical fiction. So it follows 16-year-old Soul, and I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but here we are. And she is kind of like the assistant in like this police bureau, is that what it's called in thing, and she is useful, for example, because she can like talk to like female witnesses and stuff and go into like places where men are not supposed to go, and then she like gets deeper and deeper into this case. She's also looking for her brother that like disappeared kind of into the city, or not disappeared, but he left, and she's trying to look for him as well. And then we just go deeper into this case, try to find out, you know, who killed who, because there's like people dying, and it's very interesting. It's like different themes, and very like, I think the author tried to keep it of course as historical accurate as possible, because she wrote so in the back of the book, and I did enjoy it a lot. I think it was interesting just to, the setting was very different from I guess what I'm used to, and the characters were really fun, and I loved like all the different mysteries with like the brother, and then also, you know, the murder cases. I enjoyed everything about this. It was really, really good. A solid book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I also read the second book by the author, so I'm gonna talk more about that soon. But overall, just like, I really enjoyed it. I recommend it a lot. And like, I don't usually read that much like thriller and mystery stuff, but this is the kind of thing I can get behind on. So that was all the challenges for Asian Readathon itself, but I kept reading Asian, so let's go through it all. We have so much love, help me. I also read Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 10 by Kafka Asagiri and Tanga Harukuwa. This one, it's now been a while since I read Bungo Stray Dogs, but it basically followed this detective where all of them have abilities, and they solve these different cases from other people that has abilities, and they're also like always in conflict with like the port mafia in their city. It's just loads of fun, and it's been a while since like I read Bungo Stray Dogs now, and also like me catching up on like what I haven't watched yet, because I'm like behind watching, and it was just so fun and good to be back. I don't know why I used so long like getting back to it, because like I was away, and then like I went behind on all my manga, but it was just everything again. I love it so much. It's like my fave, and I just like, it has all my favorite characters. You can't even see my favorite characters, he's not on the cover, but I just adore it all so much. I love all the interaction. They're so extra, and it's just amazing. So 4 out of 5 stars for this one, and just read it. It's like murder mystery kinda sometimes with humor, and the best characters ever. And then read Promised Neverland and Volume 15 and Volume 16. I actually read this like almost the last thing I read in the whole month, and then like this almost in the beginning. So this like, they were far between each other, but here in this video I'm taking them together. It's a ride. We are getting really to the end now. I can feel it. I have, you know, just like 4 volumes left, and it is scaring me. Promised Neverland followed these orphans in this orphanage, and I found out this really dark secret about where they live, and it continues from there. It's been a long ride since that. I don't even know what to tell you. Things are going out of proportion. We are getting backstory. We are getting so much. I don't know how to talk about this without spoiling it, but it's just everything. I adore this story so much. The plot has been insane from the beginning, and just actually me finishing something like a long manga. Who am I? I don't even know. I don't know what to tell you. I adore it so much. It's my fave. Just my face should tell you everything about how I'm feeling. I am scared, okay? I am scared. Someone better not die, okay? That's all I'm asking. Then the next one I would talk about is Force of Stolen Girls by Jun-Ho, which is also, you know, the author of Silence of Bones. So this one is set in 1426 in the same city like Joseon, which is like Seoul, I think. This one is inspired by like the missing girls that went missing at this time, because certain things were done to them. I don't want to tell you exactly what were done to them, because like that would spoil the revelations in the book, I think. They follows this family, and the two sisters disappeared in the forest, and they were found nearby a gruesome murder. And then 13 years later, one of the sisters goes back like to the place where like one of the older sisters, like the younger sister, were kind of like left there, and she like has grown up to be like a shaman, if I believe. And then like she goes back there because now the father went there, and he has been missing too, and she's trying to find her father. The girls are disappearing, as you can maybe tell from the title. I love this cover, by the way. And, you know, it's a murder mystery as well. A historical murder mystery set in Korea, just like the first one. I don't know how to tell you this. I didn't mean this as a criticism at all, but it's more like the first book and this book, they were really similar. And it's not just the setting, it's just like the vibe of the story, I guess, which would make sense since it's the same author. But it just feels like almost the same book at times, and I just feel like sometimes, I guess the feeling I got sometimes since I read these so close together is that the author kind of had like, it felt like it was one book at the point, and then the author like separated the two. I don't think that's the case though, but that's just the feeling I got, because like the mysteries itself also just were really similar, with them trying to find a family member, and then also like having the other like mystery on the side, and just like the vibe of the story. But they are set into completely different times, and then also, you know, with different characters, and this one has like a really focused sister relationship. I'm not saying they're in the same book, it just felt like at a point it could have been the same book, but I don't think that's the case. It's just the feeling I got, but probably since, as I said, I read them so close together, and of course they have the same vibe because it's the same author, and it kind of has like, it's the same genre too, so yay. But I really enjoyed this one as well as the other one. Like, I enjoyed them both. They were gruesome a bit, you know, with murders and stuff, and just the mysteries are also really interesting. The characters are really good. I think the writing is good. Like, everything about this is very enjoyable. I've read the two of them a lot. Then the author also has a new one coming next year. I think it's also historical fiction, but I think this one is a romance, if I believe correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I will 100% guaranteed read that, and I should pre-order it, so I know it will get there. Yay! 4 or 5 stars to this one too. And then finally read These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, and this one is set in Shanghai in also like 1926. It's also a historical fiction, and it is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but with different gangs in, you know, Shanghai. So this one actually starts out with kind of like a virus thing, which is ironic, you know, in the day and age we live in. And then like people, when they get the virus, scratch open their own throats and are trying to figure out, you know, why people are like going insane and then killing themselves. And yeah, Romeo and Juliet, I was gonna say, that's not what they're named though. They're named Juliet and Roma, that's what their names. They go out and, you know, investigate this together because they're both like the heirs to their gangs. They also have a history because she's been there, of course, before, but she's been in the States for a while too, and they had maybe a thing then, and then they meet again. Yay! I do think the story was fun at times, but I also think that like could be a bit slow, and it didn't feel, I guess, the book had high stakes, but I guess it didn't feel them completely, and the relationship went where you think it would go, but it was still fun. It was just fun. I just thought about it after reading it, like when I was gonna rate it, just like my enjoyment of it was high, and I think it was enjoyable, but I do not think, I guess, how I've seen people talk about it, it was like the most amazing and brilliant thing ever. But I do think that it had really fun parts. It was entertaining for sure, and just like, as I said, fun times. I think more about like the funness of it, the like how, I guess, interesting the plot was, because at points I guess it wasn't that interesting. I don't even know, but yeah, I will read the second book in the duology. I'm excited for it. It was just fun. Okay, it was chill and fun. But yeah, I give it like 3.5, I think. Yay. Then there's My Hero Academia Volume 27. We are set in a world where 80% of the population has a quirk, or I guess a superpower. Turns into a supervillain society, and we have Midoriya, who wants to be a superhero but doesn't have a quirk. And then he starts the hero school, and he does get a quirk, and things escalate from there. We are Volume 27. Oh my god. This one started like in the middle of a battle, and I was not prepared. I was just like trying to remember how the last volume ended, because I was just like, did this go into this? But apparently it did, and it was intense, and we're in the middle of a thing now, so I'm excited to read the next one to see how the battle will turn out, unless it, you know, just continues through the whole volume. It was an intense thing. It was actually a bit sad, and I think it will look cool in the anime whenever I catch up on that, because I think I'm still on like season 2. lol. But yeah, I am enjoying it a lot. Then read Jade City by Fonda Lee, which I reread on audiobook in preparation for Jade War, which I showed you earlier. And Jade City follows this family that controls half the island of Kekon, and Kekon is the only place that produces jade, which is this magical substance that give you enhanced powers. And we follow like one of the clans who is also in conflict with the other clan, and then we follow like the Cole family, who is like the leader of the clan, No Peak as it is called. And it's just the most amazing book. It's just so good. How much can I fangirl over this book? I don't know, but I love the characters, all of them. I adore them to death. I would die for them. I would die for this book, and I love it. Okay, I love it with all my heart, and that is like the worst review ever saying I love it. But I don't know what to tell you. Like, it is just so clever. It takes all these pieces. I don't understand how the author does it, but it's just so good. I don't understand how the author has brain cells, because I don't have any, but it's just so clever. As I said, I just said that. But yeah, the atmosphere of this is immaculate. Is that even a word? I've tried to say another word, but I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. 5 out of 5 stars, one of my favorites of all time. Then read Smoke in the Sun by Renee Adier, which is the sequel to Flame in the Mist and the final one in this duology. This one is set in like federal Japan. Is that how you say federal, by the way? And it follows Mariko, and in the first book she's almost killed, and then she like infiltrates this clan called the Black Clan as a guy to like find out why they try to kill her. And this one is the aftermath of that. I don't know, I can't really talk, I guess, the plot about this much to like not spoil the first book, but I do think like it came to a conclusion. It was good, it was fun. I just think like the first 200 pages nothing much happened, and then suddenly everything happened in the last 200 pages. It was suddenly picked up, but I think it was a good, solid, really fun duology, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was just really good, and I really enjoy Renee Adier's writing, so yay. Then we have Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami, and this one is the first one in the series. It follows Yuji Itadori, who is like in this cult research club and have this cursed object, and then they like open it and then things happen. I don't even know what is even the plot, how to describe this book. It's basically about him, and then he's gonna go around and, I don't know, dispel curses in the end, I guess. I don't even know how to describe the plot of this, but yeah, it is really good. I finally got to read this because it's been out of stock for ages. I want to watch like all of the anime, of course. I watched some more since reading this, and then read all of them. It's so interesting and so good. It reminds me actually a lot of like Demon Slayer, but like in the best way, because like it just, I guess, the different cases and how like they came into the circumstances, just as this is set in like in Japan, while Demon Slayer is set in the fantasy world, I guess. But yay, really enjoyable, and I'm excited that I finally got to read one of them. I then read Ruse by Cindy Palm, which is the sequel to Want, and Want was a sci-fi set in Taiwan, I think. And then like the first one, they're trying to take down this corporation that like makes these suits, because like there's a lot of pollution stuff, and like only rich people have the suits and they don't get poisoned, and they try to take down that corporation, and it continues in here, I guess. And then we follow different characters trying to like still solve the aftermath after the first book, etc. It's a really enjoyable duology. I think the sci-fi aspects are really cool. I think it's a very good answer to, I think, like sci-fi if you haven't read that much, for example, and it's just very fun and interesting. It has really good characters, and the plot makes sense. I don't know, I give this 4 out of 5 stars as well, because it was good, and now I actually finished this. That's fun. I then read The Ones We Are Meant to Find by Joan He, and this one is the second book by this author, and it has a beautiful cover. It was one of my most anticipated this year, and it basically is also like this sibling relationship. It follows this one girl who is at this island trying to go and find her sister. What's her name? C. And then we follow a world away Casey, who is like an aftermath of like her sister has disappeared, and you know, I don't know how to tell you, like we're set in this kind of dystopian world, like it's a lot of shit happening to it, like things, storms, etc. are ruining the world, and so it's a kind of like a sci-fi setting, definitely. And then it all comes together. It has beautiful atmospheric writing. It also, by the way, I need to show you the inside. It's stunning. I love it so much. Just these two pieces, these two girls, how it pieces together, how the story is pieced together. It was just very, I guess, not like I think nothing that's ever seen before. I'm not saying that, but it's just very how it's written, very, I don't know how to describe it, just very beautiful, I guess. It's a bit sad, but just a very beautiful and atmospheric story. I use the word atmospheric because it just is. You feel also this girl, you know, sea that's on this island. I could feel like I could smell the ocean, and it was just this very nice feeling when reading. And I just think that overall it was just fascinating, and how it all came together. It was, I don't know, I can't spoil it, but it was just very enjoyable, and I'm glad that I got to read it this month, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I actually want to reread this on audiobook. I think you listening to the story will be really good, so I think I'm gonna do that. Maybe next year. I can't do it yet. I just read it. And then I actually read Demon Slayer by Koyoharu Goto Uge, Volume 5, and I'm itching. And this one follows Tanjiro, isn't it? And his whole family gets killed by demons except his sister, who's turned into one, and he wants to find a cure. So he becomes a Demon Slayer so that he can find more about demons, and then we go around killing demons, and it's just a ride. And I am still really close in actually on, I think, the first season. Very excited to just actually continue and see, you know, more things I haven't seen, but the manga is just so fun, so good, and just killing some demons. It's a good time. That's all. And then I read even more. Oh my god, why did I read so many books? I'm dying. This is Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa, which is the sequel to Shadow of the Fox. And Shadow of the Fox, the book is set in this world where every 1,000 years you can have these scrolls, and then you can wish for anything. And the 1,000 years is coming up, and everyone wants these scrolls. We follow Yumeko, and she is like half kitsune, and she's also like trying to protect one of the scrolls. And then she meets this guy who is also after the scroll, but he doesn't know she has the scroll. And that's the first book. You go on this journey, meet many things from Japanese mythology. It's very, very cool. And they're now trying to stop evil people from getting the scroll. And this one follows the aftermath of the first book. I don't want to spoil the ending here, but here it's just a lot of things going on, and I do not think, I think the end was not like all what I expected. And I'm very excited to see where the third and final book will end up. I just think like the atmosphere, again, the word atmosphere, just really feel like you are there in Japan, and just really meeting all these magical creatures, and just like feeling so much with these characters. It's so good. Very, very solid, very fun YA fantasy. So 45 stars for this one too, of course. I basically almost rated everything 4 except like a few 3, because I pick amazing books up, obviously, because I know what I like. Obviously. I then read Red Tigress by Emilia Van Schau? Who knows? Which is the sequel to Blood Heir. And Blood Heir is like kind of an Anastasia retelling, but it basically follows this girl who, like, I guess everyone thinks she's dead, and then she's not. And she also has this like blood affinity, which is like blood powers, while like there's many different kinds of affinities, and people with affinities are like, I guess, forced into slavery. So that's not good. And in this one, we followed aftermath of the first book, so again, can't talk too much about the plot, but I think that this did not go, again, where I thought it would go. This is another place where, like, the author really, like, thought through the sequel more than I did, because sometimes I guess the middle book always feels like they would just continue on the first book, and of course it continues, but this is like more to do with the characters, and also just see more of the world, and I really do enjoy it. And I'm excited to see the third and final book in the trilogy, and to see how, you know, the story wraps up. I think also it's interesting the different conversations they have up in this one. I don't really know if I can talk about them because spoilers, but yay, 4 out of 5 stars to that one too, of course. Then I read Beastars Volume 7 by Paru Itagaki, which continues Beastars, and it basically is like a human drama, but they're all beasts, and then we have this whole relationship between like the prey and the predators, because they don't kill each other anymore, and it's just a lot of things. The first one started out with like a murder. We don't really know what's going on, who did it, but here they kind of go back to it again, try to investigate it. It's not going well. I'm excited to see where we'll go. It's lots of fun. I don't understand why this is so fun and why I care so much about this stupid wolf who is a softie called Nugoshi, but I do. Okay, I do. And I also managed to get to Dance 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 by Murakami, and this one is actually like the 4th book in the Rat series, and I had forgotten kind of that this is the 4th book, but the Rat series started out with this one character that we still do not know the name of, and we just see him live and do many different things and need supernatural things that's not really supernatural, and I don't even know what's going on in these books. I have no idea. We just know that this is like actually the sequel because he refers to all the things that happen in the other books. Okay, so the reason the book pile is gone is because my camera stopped filming and I didn't notice. So I need to do the end again. And I in my life. I just did a thumbnail too, and I carry like 30 books on me. So that was a ride. I finished this thing up, but now I can't find the book because like the pile is burned. Either way, I was in the middle of Dance Dance Dance. I don't know how to describe this other than like it's super weird. Murakami is, I read the other ones last year, don't even know like how to describe it. Murakami is such a weird experience. I did still enjoy it, even though like I can't for the life of me tell you what the point was of the story. But yeah, give it 4 out of 5 stars. So yay. I then read The Never Tilting World, which is the book club pick for the month for Facing Gaze, which is the book club I'm co-hosting, where we read queer, sci-fi or fantasy every single month, and this was what I picked from May, of course. And it basically follows 2 sisters, broke the world, 2 sisters save it. We have 4 POVs. They are both on different sides of this world, meeting in the middle, I guess. Builds up to that. The relationships were so great. I think the originality of this really shown. It's really one of the most original YA fantasy I've read in a while, and I just enjoyed it a lot. I loved meeting the creatures, getting to know this world, seeing the magic. All the characters was done really, really well. I thought it was a trilogy, but then it is apparently a duology, so the next book will wrap up the story, and I'm scared. But overall, just so solid. 4 out of 5 stars. Very excited for the live to see what the other thought, and I hope they enjoyed it a lot. There's some few things I would love to discuss, so I'm just very excited for live, and I will try to link it down below, but I will probably forget because this will probably be up before, or will it? I don't even know anymore. But yay, 4 out of 5 stars for this one. And again, just very original and different, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then for the last Asian book in this, we have Blackbird Sister, which was my last read for the month actually, and it follows Jess, whose family just went to Malaysia because they couldn't get a job in the US anymore, and they couldn't get a job there, where the family came from. And then she's hunted by her grandma's ghost, and she finds out a lot of things about the family, and like trying to find out like this whole like, I guess, conflict with her family and this other family. And it's just, it was very interesting, and did however not enjoy the writing that much. I think that like it just skipped places, and I guess I just didn't like how it explained things. I guess I wanted more out of it, but overall I think the story was still very interesting and fun. I loved the setting. I thought the characters were interesting. The main character is also gay, by the way, but her parents doesn't know yet. Get it like 3 out of 5 stars just because it wasn't exactly like the best thing ever, but I do think like it was very fun, and yeah, fun to follow this Asian family too. And yay, I also really think this cover is nice, and I do want to read other books by this author. Woohoo! And now for the non-Asian books that I read, we have Being Amani by Annabelle Steele, and this one follows Amani, who mother and her, they needed to like run away from dad because he was being very abusive, and then they are 1 year later I think, and her just trying to live her life. I have a full video review up on my channel where I talk about this book in fullness because it was an arc, and that's why I read it in May, even though it wasn't Asian. It was released on 20th May, and again, check out my full video review. But I ended up giving like 3 out of 5 stars because I do think that like things could have been, I guess, I wish that it had just explored more things, I guess. And then for the last 2 books, I read the Shadowhunter books that I am buddy reading with my friends, and we read City of Glass, and now finished with the first trilogy in Immortal Instruments, and it's just fun to see my thoughts now and then. I do think the second book was my favorite of the first 3, but it's not anymore. But like, yeah, this things happened, but at the same time they went around doing nothing in the beginning, and then the battle was there, and then it was over. And it's a bit funny, but enjoyable. But then we read, you know, started the Babe series, and it seems like the other ones are enjoying this so much more, and I'm so happy about it. My loves, my babies, so excited to continue next month and just read this. Okay, and I'm excited to get done with this so we can read these. We will read this anyway because we're reading a publication order, but like go to the other ones. That will be fun. I'm excited. So yay. That was it. That was all the books again, and I will need to do the thumbnail again, and it was painful. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a thumbs up emoji down below if you enjoyed it. I read a lot. Now never do this again. Joking. It's fine. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.